morning and welcome to the Waffle podcast. We are on episode 26 and it is December 2020. What a year it's been. Well, what you said about that the better. Yes, hello. It's been a while, as per usual. Yeah. What do I normally say now? Do I ever say the same thing? My name is Liz. I am a crochet designer living in York in the UK. This is my podcast where I talk about all the crochet I haven't been doing. Yes. Mainly knitting today. Well, it's all knitting today. It's always knitting. Yes. So Stop saying yes. Yes, I live in York with my two Bengal cats, Puka on cue, and Cal, who is downstairs, but will come up shortly when she hears me chatting. And the bin men are here, so if you hear beeping, that is the bin men, and if you are rocking slightly, that is one of the cats. There are so many finished objects to show you. First off, I am going to go back to Liz in the past, like a few weeks in the past now. On the last episode, I showed you my the hoodie that I was making for my friend Richard, and I had ridiculously challenged myself to see how fast I could knit it, and I ended up knitting it in 6 days. And the Sunday that I finished it, he was over. He is my bubble person, so that's allowed in the under the legislation at the moment. Yeah, he was over that Sunday, so I got to give him the hoodie, and he tried it on. It fit. It was great, whatnot. But before that, I recorded a little bit about the finished thing, and I'm gonna blob that in here. Puka, you've taken down the sign. She keeps trying to take all the letters off this sign. Yeah, so Liz in the past, then I'll be back. Hello from the past. I'm just popping on. It's Sunday morning. No, don't know what date it is. I'm just popping on from the past. It is Sunday morning, and I have finished my ridiculous self-imposed speed knitting challenge, as I'm sure future Liz has already mentioned. And so yeah, I'm going to show you the finished sweater before I gift it. Rich will be over today, so he gets to wear. It is still slightly damp, so it'll sit on the radiator for a bit more. I did block it, and then when it was nearly dry, I just shoved it on the radiator, so it was actually properly dry. And I've just woven in all the ends. I've tried to weave them in as invisibly as possible. The sun is going to catch that. Just because technically it's completely seamless, so it's reversible. So, anyhow, I'm just going to talk you through what I did. This took 6 days to knit, and I've just found another end. Damn it. So yeah, it is a hoodie. Let me show you it there. And it's got a hood on the back, like so. And yeah, so it's based on the Unbearable hoodie. All the pattern details will be on the screen. The Unbearable hoodie has colour work. I did not do that colour work because it's not Richard's cup of tea. I am really tempted to cast one on for myself with the colour work, because I have tried this on, and while it is too big for me, I actually really like it, and I like the DK weight. It's got a really nice drape. Ooh, hair. But if you can see, if future Liz talks about my fern and feather, that's being knit in an Aran weight at the moment, and I'm not really enjoying it that much. But this has got a really nice drape to it, so it's going to be really warm but quite light. Puka's in here too. Woof! Hey, Pooks. Don't look at me, look at the camera. Good girl. Yeah, so I'm really pleased with the wool. It's Drops Charisma, I think I used, which is a superwash 100% wool, and it's in this really dark charcoal colour, so it's a really nice neutral. So yeah, so this was about 50 hours worth of knitting, and pretty much non-stop. I paused when I ran out of yarn and I was waiting for Wool Warehouse to deliver more, but other than that it was just everyday knitting. That ends annoyingly. So it was knit seamlessly in the round top down. You start with a provisional cast on and knit down the body. I did raglan increases, which I had to fudge ever so slightly, but they're looking absolutely fine. And then yeah, just all the way down the body. I did do, again, there's Bashan. Yeah, I did do a tubular bind off on the body. That would be Puka just knocking things down off a shelf that you can't see. Don't worry about that. Yeah, so I did a tubular bind off on the body. That's a bit weird with the light. Sorry, I'm croaky voice this morning. Yeah, so it's a tubular bind off on the body, and it gets you to, in the book, I've just bought myself a book on Kindle about toe-up socks, because it's my new obsession if you don't know. And yeah, in the book it shows you how to do this tubular bind off, which gets you to do 4 rows of slipping stitches. So you're either slipping the pearls or the knits, alternatively, for 4 rows, and then you do a Kitchener stitch bind off. So that includes separating out the knits and pearls and then doing them like you would do a sock, the toe of a sock, just Kitchener. It took finishing the hem of this sort of what would have been half an hour and turned it into, I think, the best part of 4 hours doing that hem. And I don't think I did it right, because it's got this weird, you see how it's got like a little dip in it? I don't think that's right. In the morning, when I came to doing the cuffs, I also did a tubular bind off on those, and this time I just did a sewn method. So the light is very weird. But yeah, it goes round. Let me sort out the light. So yeah, so when it came to doing the cuffs, I did do tubular again. Hello. But this time I just did the sewn method, which doesn't have any of that preamble to it, and I think that's probably easier. But yeah, at least they match. The only thing I did different is that I decided to knit the hood, this is the hooded part, separately. By this stage there was a lot of weight to this jumper, and going back and forth and knitting this hood did not seem like fun, and as it was on a provisional cast on, I could just replicate that provisional cast on a new needle and knit the hood and then graft them together, which is what I did. Picking up the provisional cast-ons and grafting them together took the longest time, but I'm still fairly sure it is quicker than it would have been if I was wrangling the actual sweater while I was doing it. And the other thing that I did differently to the pattern is I did an I-cord bind off around the hood. So the pattern gets you to pick up these stitches around the hood and knit out for a bit and then sort of tuck it under, so it gives a brim around the hood. But I didn't have many stitches at the front, so in the pattern you would have a bigger area here. I didn't have that many stitches because of my messing about and fudging, so I just did the I-cord, and actually I really like it. I like it more on the other side, but yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, I'm really pleased with how this turned out, and while I definitely wouldn't recommend knitting a sweater in 6 days, it is humanly possible. But yeah, anyway, so I thought I'd just give you a flash of this before it gets handed over to Richard today, and I'll hand back to future Liz. And yeah, see you now, see you then. Bye! Am I back? I'm back. Hi. What do you think? Oh, I really like it. It turned out a lot smarter than I expected it to be. I probably already just said that. Yeah, and Richard likes it, and he's worn it quite a lot, and you can see him wearing it in Vlogmas. Any day that's a Sunday, he's usually over. That's his day that he comes over. And to be honest, he's usually wearing the hoodie. I think he's been wearing it both Sundays he's been over since he got it. Yeah. And now I am planning on knitting him something else. It's just really nice to see knits being worn, and I like big projects, but I don't really wear as many garments that I've knit myself, apart from obviously my harvest cardigan, which I live in. But yeah, anyway, I have already whittled on for like 10 minutes, and I haven't even shown you any finished objects yet, so I'm going to just dive right in. Do you want to start with the big one? I think we do, don't we? We really do want to start with a big one. I finished this a couple of days ago, and it is my slipstravaganza shawl. Oh, I'm so pleased it's finished, and I love it. I absolutely love it. That colour is coming out pretty good on screen there. It's a bit of a weird contrast with it being sort of peachy pinks and the petrol-y blue, but it's quite good fun. Yeah, this is the mystery knit along, the shawl along by Stephen West. All the details will be, I think they go on this side now. Yeah, I kept up with this for all the sort of parts, and then when it came to the final part I was just like, I'm just going to take my time with it, and that's exactly what I have done. And I also went for the cheats version, and only did 3 colours at the bottom, but I'm happy with that. I was kind of done. It took me a day to do the I-cord bind off, and yeah. 900 stitches is no joke. It really isn't. It's really difficult to want to pick up your knitting when you know a row is going to take you nearly an hour. But yeah, anyway. This is knit in yarn that I dyed, the blue and the pink. Let me get it a bit closer so you can have a look. And then I have 2 yarns by Black Elephant. I have Under Pressure colourway and Hummingbird colourway. Thank you very much to the commenter who reminded me of the colourway. It is beautiful. And then there is also a 4th one that I added in, which is a Quing Fibre. I can never say that. And it's an unnamed colourway that I got off a D-stash on eBay. And yeah, I just really love it. And even though I'm going to be a ridiculous amount of colour, but when I put this on, I'm putting it on. Don't care, putting it on. I might also be a bit too warm, but who cares? I can take my cardigan off if I get too warm. I'm not taking this off. This is the first time I've like properly worn it. So yeah, I probably will wear it like this, like normal shawls. I'm kind of glad it didn't get too big in the end, so I can wear it this way. And yeah, I love it. It's my Stephen West shawl. Kind of planning all the Stephen West cast-ons now, because I love doing his mystery knit-alongs, because I learn so much. I always feel like I come out of them a better knitter, even though there can be a little bit of sort of knitting stress along the way. And yeah, it's sort of, after every one, I find things that I then use going forward. Like, they change the way I knit. On this, it was the weaving in of ends. I am now using that on all socks that I do, on my mitered square blanket and stuff like that. It is just, why would I ever do anything else? I can weave in the ends as I go, and I don't have to sew in any ends now. If you want to know what I'm talking about, just look on YouTube for Weaving Stephen, which is a way of weaving in your ends as you are knitting. It doesn't show at all. It is amazing. Thank you very much. Okay, right, I'm going to crack on. Okay, hats or socks? Hats or socks? Hats or socks? I'm going to go hats. Okay, first off, this has not been blocked, so it's a bit all over the place. And I also cannot remember the name of either of these hat patterns. I will put all the name and the details on the screen. I have the new fancy card thing now. I like the fancy card. Do you like the fancy card? Yeah, so it shows you the pattern, the picture and all the details. This is a hat, which is going to be for my Secret Santa present, who is a guy at work. And this is knit in die candy yarn in the Best of 7 colourway, which is a Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey reference. It is a very simple beanie, but it has this garter panel with slip stitch design in, just to give it a bit of texture. And it was so fast to knit. It was like 2 afternoons, if that. It's knit in Aran weight yarn, and yeah, the design does extend into the cuff, so you start here, you work up. The crown decreases are beautiful. Hang on, can you see those? Isn't that gorgeous? Yeah, I'm really chuffed with this. I'm definitely going to knit it again. I knit it quite snug to the hat, so it fits like a beanie with no slouch, because it is for a guy. I'm not sure of his hat wearing preferences, or even if he likes wearing hats, but if he doesn't, I'll just ask for it back. in the nicest way possible. Did you like that? No? Oh, can I have it back then? Because I like it. Do you think that'll go down well? I mean, I will show you it on, although it's not for me, so. I mean, could I be wearing more colours at this point? Yeah, so it kind of, the yarn kind of stripes. I like it. I think it's fun. I think he'll like it. Okay, so hat number 1. There is another hat. Okay, hat number 2. On the last podcast, I received a parcel of mystery yarn from Dye Candy. While I was recording, the postman arrived with it, and I opened it, and in it was this ball of Aran. I cannot remember what the colourway was. Was it something like Malice? I don't know. I'll go back and have a look. But yeah, I asked for suggestions as to what hat pattern to go for, and a lot of you guys commented, which was really great. And I went for this pattern here. Sorry, there's a hair. Alright. Rosie suggested this pattern. The details will be, again. It's lovely. It's twisted stitches and cables, which almost gives you like a calla lily look. I know the yarn's busy, but so I don't really know if that's going to come across. But yeah, and again the detail goes into the brim, which is really great. I really like it when that happens. And weirdly, it sort of scallops. Can you see that? But that doesn't really look like it when it's on. And I have made this a bit slouchy because it's for me. Don't particularly think it goes with the slipstravaganza and all the colours of the harvest, but hey ho. See, it's not massively slouchy, this one. Just a little bit. It's a really good fit. And yeah, I really like this one. Really, really pleased with it. I'll definitely knit this pattern again. I would kind of like to knit it in a plainer yarn just so that pattern comes out really, really nicely. Really nicely. Good adjectives. Oh yeah, anyway, I am buzzing through this because there's a lot to show you and I don't want to be editing this for 4 hours. Plus I have a Asda shop coming at some point. So yeah, this is very similar in a way to my Hallis hat, which is over here. Whoop. Hang on. I am taking my cardigan off, it's too warm. It's too warm. Yeah, this is quite similar in a way to my Hallis hat in colour palette, apart from this is a lot paler. So I have the two now. But yeah, I do really like this. And now it's finished and now I've shown you, I can actually wear it. What do we think to how it goes with the slipstravaganza hair? Could I get away with them both together? I thought I could probably get away with the Hallis with this. Thought they would be alright together. Do you think? Leave me a comment, let me know. The whole point of making the colours of this colour was so that it would go with some of my hats, and I don't 100% know if it is, and that means I might have to make more hats, but not a bad thing. Anywho, I have finished socks. I have 3 pairs of finished socks to show you. 3 pairs. And I will start with some Christmas socks for me. I'm going to try and put them on the wire ones. Actually, what I'm going to do is shut up. So this is the first pair of finished socks. This yarn is Winter Rainbow. Sorry, that's on there very badly. Very badly showed off. This is Winter Rainbow by the Yarn Badger. I adore her self-striping yarn. And it has a cuff, cuff and contrast toe in a yak sock that I dyed up, that I had a little mini of. So I think it's a very similar base, so it goes really nicely with it. I mean, These are just so lovely. They don't quite fit on the blockers. I was going to put them on my new fancy blockers, but then I realised it'd take ages to get them on and off, and I've got 3 pairs of socks to do, and yeah. So I knit these toe up. They... I'm fairly sure it is 64 stitches. It might be 60. I'm kind of experimenting with the fit of socks at the moment. And yeah, I just knit round and round and round, and then I did a short row heel when I got to it and kept going, and I only did a very small cuff on these. But yeah, these are the winter rainbow colourway, so they can officially go in my Christmas box of socks. So we all need a Christmas rainbow, definitely. So yeah, I'm really pleased with those. I don't quite know what that makes me on my numbers for the Christmas box, but I might be, no, I should be filming a video of my Christmas box of socks after I've finished filming this. So that'll be going up on YouTube soon as well. And I have another Christmas pair of socks finished. Excuse me while I shut up and put these on the block. Here we go. These are the Traffic Island socks. All the details will be on the screen. I think, is it Nicola something? I always get this wrong. I always think it's one thing when it's another. I do apologise to whoever designed this pattern. It's a lovely pattern. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. And I have only done the design down the front and the instep of the sock. I have just left it plain on the back. I've done another pair of socks this same way, and I really enjoyed it. The difference I did with these is I knit them toe up. I've only recently learnt or relearnt how to start toe up socks. So literally every sock I'm doing at the moment is toe up. They're all toe up. I think apart from one, I think I've got one on the needles which is cuff down, that bit. Yeah, and this is yarn by Ducky Darlings. It was one of her monthly club colourways from the Elves and the Shoemaker, and it was the Cobbler's colourway. But I think we can say it's suitably festive, so it's definitely going in the Christmas box of socks. I have paired it with this sort of beige, quite rustic colour. This was from a commercial sock yarn, a Regia Perfect, and it was just a little bit I had left over. I have done a sewn bind off on pretty much all these socks that I have been knitting toe up. It's really easy. You just go through 2 stitches as if to purl, and then go back through 1 stitch as if to knit and take it off, and just continue doing that, and it gives you a really nice stretchy bind off. There's loads of tutorials for it on YouTube. It's ridiculously easy, as I was saying so last time. But yeah, another pair of socks. And while I'm whizzing through it, I shall put the next set of socks on my fan for new Christmas sock blockers. Yes, I bought these especially for doing my box of socks video. Does it take ages to get socks on and off these? Yes it does, yes it does. The wood is really smooth, but it's got holes in it, it's going to get stuck. But you're getting 1 pair of socks on them. That's the best I could do. Probably the ones that shouldn't have gone on them. Okay, final pair of finished socks, and these are my Strictly socks. I have been joining in the Strictly Sock Along, hosted by Ali of Little Drops of Wonderful podcast, and these are the socks that I have been knitting while watching Strictly Come Dancing, which is a show in the UK where celebrities dance with professional dancers and get better. That's just made it sound the most boring show in the world. These are vanilla socks because I want to watch telly while knitting them, and the yarn is by Cuddle Bums. All her details will be in the description doodah. And yeah, so I just knit them as vanilla socks, but I did do a proper heel flap and gusset on these, and really, really nice pickup. And yeah, I'm actually quite pleased with these. These are the first socks that I've done that are 60 stitches, because I want to check the fit of those. However, I had originally planned these to be for Mum, and they will be for Mum. I'm just hoping that they fit her. Okay. But yeah, they are done. I will demonstrate taking socks off these blockers. This is where they prove me wrong and come off really easily. No, no, see? No. No, they don't come off easily. Okay, okay, they can stay on there for now. Right, the rest of the stuff in there is acquisitions, so we're on to works in progress. I'm going to start at the top and go down. Wait, oh, I've got another one of these. Okay, so after finishing my Strictly socks, I needed another vanilla sock on the needle, and a yarn that I really like called Fine Fish Yarns was having a bit of a sale in her shop. And I've been thinking for a while that I wanted to try knitting from a sock blank again, and this is what this is. This is one finished sock. You could probably see that it's quite wibbly, and the yarn is, this is a sock blank. I'm sure you all know what they are. They are pre-knit fabric that's been knit on a machine, so it's quite a loose gauge that is then dyed so that you get something quite random when it comes to socks. There can be no pooling or anything like that. It's just really random. And yeah, I'm currently on with the second one. It was an experiment to see how I would get on with sock blank, and to be honest, I'm not the biggest fan. I love the effect I'm getting with the yarn, it's really pretty. But actually knitting from the blank is not my favourite thing. This, it feels like it's fighting me all the time. Yeah. So even though they are vanilla socks, I'm not exactly picking them up every time I want to knit. I've been picking up other ones instead. But I am nearly at the point where I can put the heel in on this one, and then if I could just whiz up the leg, they'd be done. And yeah, experiment will then be over. I know I like the look of sock blank, but I can't knit from a sock blank. But yeah, it was a good plan to learn the lesson, and I really do like the socks. Again, they're 60 stitches. I've done a short row heel as and when I got to it, and they were knit toe up with that sewn bind off. So yeah, it won't be long before they're finished, but I don't think sock blanks are going to be in my future. Still, it was worth the experiment. Ooh, sorry for all the rattling. Okay, what's next? Latest cast on, but it's getting quite big. I have taken off my harvest cardigan because I was getting warm, but I am in the process of knitting another one. This one is for Mum. She really liked mine and wanted one, so I decided that I was going to knit one, and I got a slightly different yarn base. With this, sorry, let me use proper words in the right order. This is the harvest cardigan. It is a pattern by Antique Tin Can Knits. It calls for DK weight yarn, I think, or maybe Aran. I am using two strands of fingering 4-ply weight yarn held together, one of which is a solid colour, and the other are scraps. So I'm marling it together to get this incredibly random effect. This is the effect I'm going for. It's to use up odds and ends and just to make a round the house fun cardigan to keep warm. I wear mine all the time, like every day. I absolutely love it. It's the softest thing, it's colourful, it's just, I can throw it on over stuff if I'm a little bit chilly. And the best thing is, it's like I'm using up all those scraps. I'm not, you know, I'm not crocheting them into a blanket because that's not going to happen at the moment. But yeah, I'm knitting them in to make a garment, and yes, it's mad, but I love it. And by using another solid colour throughout. It kind of tones it down in a subtle way, as if like this isn't just crazy, we meant it to be this crazy, and I like that. For this one, okay, I'm a knitter. I'm also, if you didn't know, if you hadn't guessed that by now, I'm a knitter. I also like have a stash of yarn, and all my hand dyed yarn is precious to me. It's expensive. It should be expensive. So it's all precious to me. Every single tiny little scrap, it gets used. It all gets used. Even down to the last gram gets put into a magic knot ball. And I am so precious about it. Like, I know what pair of socks that bit came from, or what thing that came from, or whatnot. And as I love my mum. I absolutely love her. But some of those scraps are so precious that I can't. I need that one tiny scrap of that yarn in something that I make for me. I know it's selfish, but... So what I decided to do is use some scraps, but not the most precious scraps, and also use commercial self-striping sock yarn like an opal or a regia. So I have had... So what that does is it gives you the effect that I was going for with my other harvest cardigan, but I'm not using all my most precious scraps. I think Puka's disappeared. So yeah, you can see it starts here. This is an opal yarn, and then it goes into a load of scraps. I'm putting neon in. I think that was requested by Mum. This is a drops sock yarn here. There's another opal down the bottom, and there's another. I think that's a regia. Might be an opal. But yeah, I'm about 6 inches, maybe a little bit more past the, what are these? Armpits, no, armholes. Sleeve separation, is that the delicate way of putting it? Sleeve separation. I'm about 6 inches from the sleeve separation, so it's probably about halfway, maybe, a bit longer. No, it probably needs to be about maybe 16 inches, but probably about halfway, and then it just has a massive wedge of garter at the bottom. So yeah, there's purling, don't mind the purling, it's absolutely fine. There is no plans to get this finished in time for Christmas. If it is, that would be a bonus. Yeah, and holding 2 yarns together is fine. That's what I've got left of the current magic knot ball. I am just winding off the commercial yarn and my scraps and tying them together, and using that weave-in Steven method every time I come to the join, so there's no weaving in of ends. Honestly, changes my life. So yeah, that is my harvest cardigan. It's a project I'm probably gravitating to the most at the moment, just because it's easy and it's very colourful. Whoop. It's mitered square blanket time. There's only a couple of pairs of socks in there after that. It's been a while since you've seen this, and it keeps on growing. How big was it last time? I'm about at 200 squares, so technically halfway, although it's going to be a bit bigger than that. Sorry, rattling. I'm just going to go under so you can see it properly. Yeah. This is my mitered square blanket. I knit a square every single day. It is the first thing I do in the morning is I finish a square. The squares are picked up like this, and this is how I leave it. After I've knit a square, I'll pick up the next one and leave it like this so that I can just knit on this and finish it the next day. So the first thing I'm doing in the morning is not picking up a square, because nobody wants to do that. Yeah, and I love it. I'm also, as I said before, using that weave-in Steven method and weaving in my ends. So as much as these aren't all cut off, they just need to be snipped. That is all. They don't need to be woven in. They're all in there. So unlike my last mitered square blanket where I spent about a week weaving in ends, this one, don't need to, there might be a few around the edge, but we're not going to bother about that, are we? Probably not, because if I do an I-cord around the edge I can weave them all in while I'm doing that. Bonus. Yeah, and I am currently this section here, putting in my advent calendars every day. Well, advent calendar. I have the pantomime advent calendar by Ducky Darlings. You all know I'm a big Ducky Darlings fan. And yeah, it started, this one was day 1, and then it's gone in a bit of a random order, but that was the one I did this morning. Hang on, let me get closer, then you can have a look. That was the one I did this morning. So all these are the colours that I've had so far. This one particularly is very lovely, as is this one. So yeah, up to that, or that yellow one there, and to that one. Those are the ones I've had so far. I think I'm currently caught on my sock blockers. Yeah, this just gets worked on every single day. I do 1 square. At the moment I'm not doing really more than 1 square. I just haven't had a chance. But some days I like to do more than 1. But as long as I get that 1 done, it will grow. This is my second mitered square blanket. As I said, I started my first one on Boxing Day of last year. So it's going to be nearly a year since I've been knitting a square a day. And I just realised I hadn't brought my advent socks up. Never mind, I'll talk to you about them next time. Yeah, so I got some advent self-striping yarn at the beginning of December last year, and that got me into the habit of knitting a thing every day. So I thought I might be able to do it with a mitered square blanket, and I did. Although in between now and then there is a global pandemic, so I knit more than 1 square a day on that first blanket, and it got finished in about 6 to 8 months. This is my second, which I started in August. Sorry, let me move those because they're annoying me. I started this in August of this year, and it is already about halfway there. So these things can grow quicker than you think. Yeah, there's a lot of knitters, a lot of podcasts I watch where they're showing blankets and they're like, oh, I started this 5 years ago, and I'm like, should I feel guilty that I've knit 2 this year? Like, no, because that's just how much I knit. And that's why, and you shouldn't feel guilty if you did start one 5 years ago and it hasn't got as big as this. This is how I knit. How you knit might be different, and it's fine. I just know that if I just take slow, steady progress, this is going to keep on growing until finally it's a blanket. And I have the other one on my bed, and I love it. But yeah, and after I finish this one, I will probably do something slightly different. Maybe not mitered squares, but there will still be some morning knitting every morning from now until forever, because it's become a habit now. And to be honest, I don't know what I'd do if I wasn't doing my morning knitting. Okay, so that's the mitered square blanket. I've got 2 more pairs of socks to show you. I can't remember if I showed these on the last podcast and they're just very slow growing, or what. Maybe I showed, did I show the yarn? This is the Christmas It's Cancelled colourway by Amy of the Stranded Dye Works. It was her Gone a Bit Wrong colourway. Her actual colourway this year is Zooming Home for Christmas. I got this one. And I am knitting the Coffee Morning Socks by Kay Linton, who is the Crazy Sock Lady. I'm fairly sure I've said this before. Well, anyway, they haven't got very far, but because they've got quite a long leg on them, so I think I've got another 2 repeats before I do the, why can't I say heel today? Yeah, before I do the heel, and this is only the first one. But yeah, these are the current Christmas socks on the needles. Really enjoying it. For some reason I have a festive boat stitch marker, but yeah. It is pooling, but I really enjoy it on this. I think it looks really good. Yeah, so they are my Coffee Morning socks in my stranded yarn. And then the other socks that I have on the needles Oh dear. Oh dear. There is too much stuff in here. What is this? What is this? These were my second pair of Strictly socks. When I cast off the Cuddle Bum ones, I cast on these. In also yarn that came on the last podcast, the Dye Candy yarn. I said I was going to cast it on straight away, and I did. It's the Rainforest colourway, and it is stunning. I don't think the camera's really going to do it justice. It is greens and blues and pinks and every single colour, and neon pops and... Again, I'm playing around with how my socks fit. So I've knit this in a bit of a rib, as much of a rib as I could cope with. I think it's a 6x2. And it's a... Is it a 60 stitch? No, I think it's the 64. And the contrast cuff is in a Malabrigo. I don't know what colourway it is, but it's very pretty. And to be fair, I haven't got far until I finish this first one, so I should pick this up again. I think it's got languished in the bottom of my work bag. Sorry, the sweets in here, I got distracted. Yes. Nothing really seems to be in project bags at the moment, mainly because all Christmas socks just got bundled in a basket together. Then I used that basket for something else and they all got bundled in. You don't need to know this, but there is a tangle I'm not happy about. So I'm just going to bundle them in here. I'm not going to think about them apart from when I forget that I haven't done the thumbnail, I have to take them all back out again. It's all fine. But yeah, that is it for works in progress. There's a few other things that are pottering around, but I won't talk to you about them today. You might spot them if you watch the vlogs. So yeah, these are getting on my nerves. Okay, so I've got a few acquisitions to show you. Won't talk about that. Just a little bit. When I ordered the sock blank from Fine Fish Yarns and her sale, I also ordered another Christmas yarn for my Christmas box of socks, and this is called Drunk at the Christmas Party, and it is quite a neutral coloured yarn with lots of spots of colour, and it's on a high twist base. Yeah, it really appealed, and something a bit fun to go in the Christmas box of socks. Ooh, a lot of this yarn is for my Christmas box of socks. This one isn't. This was from another D-stash on eBay, and it's actually by the Knitting Goddess. I don't have any of her yarn. The colourway is called Silvered Yellow. I think it said it's a cell striping. Yeah, it's a cell striping yarn. And I mainly got it because she's from Harrogate, and I'm from Harrogate, so, you know, I thought I'd give it a go. It feels slightly rusticy, but that's quite nice. I like that. But yeah, something more to add to my self-striping stash because I don't have enough. Oh! Did I mention it on last... I didn't even talk about it on the podcast. I've been dyeing self-striping again. It's insane. I literally only have one ball left, and nobody will want it now because, you know, it'll be past Christmas. But yeah, I made some yarn. This is my elf feet colourway. It is the same. Oh, hang on. I knit these ages ago. They've been in my Christmas box of socks for ages, but I dyed this yarn. And I re-dyed this colourway for the first time in years. And I dyed the smallest batch ever. But yeah, I was so happy. I was just so enjoyed dyeing it. Yeah, but it's all gone. But this one is still in my Etsy shop. It's on the Etsy shop shelf. Oh, this yarn is available in my Etsy shop. So I put it where you can see it to tempt people. Okay. Yeah, sorry. Shameless self-promotion. Yeah. Oh, I had so much fun though, dyeing it. Really, really enjoyed it. Anyway, by the by, oh, it's all Christmas yarn in here. It's all Christmas yarn. Apart from that one. That's not. This is by Fearless Yarns, and it is the first full skein that I've bought from Fearless Yarns. I first came across her when I did a swap, I think it was with Henny Penny Makes, and my swap partner sent me a couple of Fearless Yarns and I really liked them, so I got one of her blanket clubs where you can get like 10 or 5 gram nuggets. I don't know what word I was going for. Yeah, you can get like 10 or 5 gram bits of yarn to go into a scrappy blanket. But I really wanted to try a full skein from her to knit some socks out of, and you know what I'm like about greens. I can't remember the colourway from this, but I do remember it was a Christmas one, and it came with this little festive stitch marker. But yeah, all the details will be either on the screen or in the description below. Finally, no, there's 2 more, but which one do I show you first? This one has lost its wall band, but it'll be in there somewhere. This is by Dragon Hill Studio. It is another self-striping yarn. I really like how she does her cakes, because you can see how the stripes are going to work on the edge of the cake. It is another Christmas yarn, and it is gold and silver and red and green and a multicoloured. It is lovely. I could not resist it. I should not have bought it. I didn't need one. I did need it, alright? But yeah, it was, I think I just caught them on one of their last updates. I don't think this yarn is available anymore, and I got it on a pre-order. And yeah, no regrets, but I think I might be there on Christmas yarn now. Yeah. Because Liz of the Yarn Badger released this sock set, and it is it's called Peppermint Elf. That box can just go on the floor. Yeah, it's called Peppermint Elf. And you've got a red and white candy strain, and a green and red candy cane, and a red that goes with it. So you can make 2 pairs of socks with this that sort of match. Hey Pooks! Come here, darling. Yeah, so I couldn't resist. You just had to. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. So yeah, it nicely stocks up my Christmas yarns. And that's it. That is it. Yes. Sorry if this has been a bit of a rushed one. I just really wanted to get one in before Christmas. The next episode that goes up will either be a normal podcast between Christmas and New Year, don't 100% know, or in the New Year I will be doing my first episode of the New Year, which is an All My Whips episode, where I won't show you anything finished. It will literally just be every single thing I have on the needles at the moment, including all those things that I've slightly hidden away and tried to forget about, and yeah, the things in hibernation, and things I probably should finish, because it wouldn't take long and then they'd be finished. But yeah, that will be the first episode in January, will be an All My Whips, and there may be a podcast between now and then. I will do my best, because I'm sure there'll be plenty of knitting over the next few weeks. But yeah, if not, words. There is always Vlogmas, and I am literally doing a 10-15 minute video every single day where you get to catch up on all the cats and me. Though mainly I'm just complaining about the fact that I've been at work and I'm tired. I'm really selling this now. So yes, that is everything. I just want to take a minute at the end of this video just to thank everyone who keeps coming back every episode I do. It really does mean a lot. You guys mean so much to me. Yeah. I hope you're all having the best of time this time of year, the best of you can. I know there are restrictions in place all over the world, and it's going to be difficult for a lot of people. So just, even if this Christmas or this festive period is different, just make it the best you can. And don't feel guilty about you know, anything. It's not, none of this is your fault. There's a global pandemic on, it's not your fault. Don't feel guilty about it. You couldn't do it. But yeah, I hope you all have a best of whatever you celebrate, and I will see you soon. Take care, goodbye my friends.